Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to talk about how you can get bronze, maximizing your bronze, and how the scaling and getting a bronze and farming a bronze can be done, tips and tricks on how to save on bronze, and how to maximize getting bronze. You'll see I started with 17k, I'll show you my balance at the end of the video. This is with a mid-level character as you are leveling them. So the first thing you're going to want to do is your daily quests. Collecting your daily quests and completing them not only entices you to do content that they require, which gives you bronze, but they themselves also give you lesser bronze cash, which is pretty good. It's 500 bronze each, plus good experience. Next, we're going to look at the LFG content and achievements. Now, this is a double-fold principle. So what this means is, especially as you're leveling and as you're unlocking more and more LFG content, be that dungeons, scenarios, or raids, what's going to happen is you're going to double up. So firstly, every day, by completing a heroic, for example, or a heroic dungeon, or a raid, you'll get a lesser bronze cash for each and every single one. This is obviously a fair chunk of bronze. You'll also get bronze by beating the enemies in the raid and dungeon and scenario. And on top of all of that, for the first time you defeat a lot of content, you get bronze caches as well, which are 750 bronze. So this is tied to your character, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later and how to maximize using ults to farm bronze. But essentially, because the clearance reward is tied per character, every time you finish the raid, you'll get that big chunk of bronze on those characters. Not to mention the quest dungeons inside, and like I said, farming the bronze from the mobs. Now, the bronze from the mobs and the bosses will also scale with level. So as you're leveling up, you'll progressively get more and more bronze. A great example of this is when you first start, you might get 20 bronze per boss. However, as you go leveling up, or as you start to clear more content, you will start to get more bronze per boss, 60, 80, etc. A great example of this is once I got to the mid-40s, I think I did Heart of Fear, and from a Heart of Fear alone, I looted almost 900 bronze at level 42. So as you scale up, that bronze drop rate is going to go up, and you're going to get progressively more bronze. Now, outside of the daily, so the dailies, the completion, and the initial completion, the actual raids themselves and the dungeons themselves don't drop too much until you start to get to the higher late game levels. I will also say out of all of them, scenarios are probably the least effective in terms of just everything. The initial clear is great, but after you've done every scenario once, there's no need to do scenarios again outside of the daily. They're not an effective farm so much. Quests and quest lines follow the same thing. Now, questing is one of the more inefficient methods actually in Mists of Pandaria Remix of leveling your character, but questing is still a great method of obtaining bronze for a couple reasons. Firstly, the cache of infinite treasures that you get will all drop bronze, and that bronze again will scale with your level. But much like dungeons, these caches or these quest lines all contribute towards greater achievements, and these achievements for completing quest lines in the areas and campaigns in areas will give you a bunch of bronze as well. So very much similar to raids, completing quest lines can net you a whole bunch of bronze, and also finishing those quest lines themselves, a lot of them, especially the side ones, will give you a bronze cache as well. So questing, especially once you're tapped out max level, is a great method. World bosses. Now, world bosses, I'm going to speak quite plainly here, are not necessarily the best method of getting bronze. In fact, getting bronze from a world boss or getting a bronze cache from a world boss is not guaranteed, especially at the lower levels. However, beating world bosses, so the August Celestials, the first one, by the way, you get diminishing returns on beating the other ones every day, but defeating the bosses, essentially Shavanger, Galleon, Thundering Serpent, etc., has a chance to drop you caches of bronze. These caches of bronze will obviously carry bronze, but they are also good for a whole bunch of other stuff. So definitely farm the world bosses, do them there once per day. You might get lucky and get some really nice big caches of bronze as you get higher up in level, and it could just be a great way to snag yourself some extra chunks. Rares and treasures follow the same principle as quests and dungeons. Defeating a rare will give you a little bit of bronze. Not a lot, but the rares and the treasures contribute to the achievements, and those achievements again give you a whole bronze cache, which is 750. So completing an area and finishing off its rares, its treasures, and grabbing yourself a whole bunch of special little boosts is going to help you out a lot. Now let's talk scrapping. After a good session, as you can see here, you'll have a lot of gear. The gear you get, and the higher the item level, it will scrap for more bronze. Now we'll talk a little bit about what you should do before you scrap, but scrapping your gear at the end of the session is going to net you some decent bronze. As you can see, as I'm in my 40s with this character is getting almost 500 bronze per batch of gear that they are scrapping, which is really good. Gems can also be scrapped, but I'm not a big fan of doing this, especially until you're max level and have your rings and trinkets, as you're going to need a lot of gems to fill those out. Now let's talk about saving on bronze as you upgrade. So when you upgrade your gear, gear will be discounted if you receive a piece that is a higher item level than that gear. Great example is I have item level 75 boots on, but I received a level 107 piece of gear from my raid. Now, if I want to keep that piece of gear and upgrade it because it's got nice stats maybe, then only upgrade that piece of gear when you've received a drop that is of a higher item level. This will rapidly reduce your cost from 200, 300, 180 to 10, 12, 20, and not only will this help you save bronze and stay powerful, but it's really, you don't want to use bronze on upgrading your gear while leveling especially. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. Now we need to start claiming our bronze caches. As you can see, we are going to get a very big chunk of bronze from this 10k, and this is not including daily faction quests. This is not including some more raids that I could have done that I have not yet unlocked. This is pretty much just a standard evening, 2 hours of LFG content and some questing on a alt 10k very easily as well, and that's going to scale up as you level up. Another great method, I say great, but it can really add up if you focus on it, are the bronze orbs in the sky. As you level up, the bronze orbs will drop more. There are some areas where you can pick up, I'd probably say around 20 of these in around maybe 30-40 seconds, especially in the Jade Forest. They refresh constantly. Picking up a whole bunch of them can very quickly net you a couple hundred bronze and make your life a lot easier. And then the final method is mob farming. Now mob farming firstly requires you to have a dense patch of mobs. Okay, a great example is this little island of Hosen right at the bottom of Krasserang Wilds where I'm busy farming. Farming is going to be dependent on two things. Firstly, your level. So farming becomes far more valuable for a character that is max level. As much as leveling you can do while farming, being max level means you're getting more drop per mob that you defeat. It also means you will be defeating them a lot faster. You probably will also have access to more speed, more movement speed, etc., which will make your life a lot easier. Now, farming mobs, honestly for me, not something I'm super interested in. I prefer rather leveling in alt and engaging in other content on them. If you have finished all your daily content, mob farming, even at max level, is not as effective as daily content, because in dungeons and raids, you defeat mobs. So mob farming is only something to do once you've done all of your dailies. And if you've done all your dailies on one character, you might as well just start working on an alt, because your bronze rate, once you hit like the 30s, 40s, is going to peak a lot higher than that max level character because of all the extra daily content you can get through. So yeah, definitely do not suggest bronze farming, at least until you hit max level. So lastly, I want to talk a little bit about maximizing your bronze farming. So we've covered, how you can get bronze, all the different ways of getting bronze, all the ways to maximize those areas kind of to a certain extent. But there's a couple of things you need to consider, and there is one kind of secret trick to farming bronze. So firstly, the main thing is level. Level. I've mentioned it throughout the video, but leveling your character, getting a higher level, means more bronze drops. More bronze will drop. You get higher rewards from completing dungeons, raids. You'll get higher rewards. You'll have access to harder raids, normal raids, heroic raids, etc. And you'll be able to get more bronze. It's just how it is. Level is super important. It affects your drop rate of bronze, enemy bronze, every kind of bronze in the game, pretty much. And perfect timing. Then the other thing to consider as well, when you are obviously working on your character, is the cloak. So the cloak is super important for a couple of reasons. So firstly, when you get to infinite power 12, so when you get the cloak up to infinite power 12, it accelerates all your other characters. All your other characters will get a 100% EXP buff on any ults that you do in Mists of Pandaria Remix. And this is important because ults can make a lot of bronze super quickly, because ults, once they start leveling quickly and with their uber stats, can very quickly clear out like a whole bunch of content. So they can clear out a massive chunk of content. Remember, they'll be getting bronze every time they clear a dungeon for the first time, a raid for the first time, a scenario for the first time, and because of their accelerated EXP, they'll be able to just constantly run new and new content, and they'll be able to rack up 20, 30k bronze pretty quickly. If you think about a character that you have got to level 70, or you now have an ult that is now rocking a 100% EXP boost, you're basically going to be able to get, with all those bonus stats, you're basically going to be able to get to the point where you're going to be able to level super duper quickly. And that's going to be a very, very big kind of consideration to making yourself, extra bronze. Leveling ults, sounds weird to say, it's one of the best ways to get bronze. Because by leveling ults, you essentially are giving yourself a huge smack of fresh new bronze that all ults can get for the non-account wide achievements. So it's really cool, especially if you're changing faction. It gives you a nice little taste of the other side, and could give you some quick early bronze if you're someone who likes to rock different classes, or you're just leveling different classes to be ready for the war within. And then finally, vary your content. It's something people don't like to hear. A lot of people want to go, well, how do I get bronze? Well, if you just farm this one spot, you will get 20,000 bronze per hour, which, some of those appear, but Blizzard are nerfing those. They don't want you to sit and spam dungeons over and over and over again so that you get a whole bunch of bronze. They want you to do varied content. So every single day, doing your dailies, doing your scenarios, switching things up, playing different classes, switching different characters, doing different achievements, trying to finish quest lines, doing daily quests. All of these are really, really solid sources of bronze, especially the daily quests for the factions. They are, generally speaking, really good ways of obtaining bronze because they are refreshed every single day. They are quests that are easily available, and they give you the same caches as completing a normal quest. So very, very simple, very cool, and yeah, honestly speaking, make your life a lot easier, and you can farm a ton of bronze that way if you really try. So yeah, those are the final kind of tips and tricks. Obviously, kind of mentioning everything here in terms of maximizing bronze. Listen, if you start a fresh character, you are not going to be at 40k bronze in 2 hours, no matter what you do. But if you keep on one character, get them to level 70, maybe level an ult, and just in general, play your game and play your game mode, then you will be more than fine. You will start to really book and get a lot of bronze, and it'll start to stack up. As you saw, I went from 17k to 32k in one evening at a mid-level character without doing anything but literally my dailies, and it was a very simple kind of grind. So yeah, go for it, and wishing you all the best of luck. But that's it from me, and see you guys in the next one. Let me know if you have any tips on how to farm bronze that you know or have picked up, or any secret bronze places that you have that aren't nerfed. And yeah, that'll be it from me. Bye.